From least to most, one of the top 7 most complex and complicated firearms to ever be made. Mechanical complexity in firearms ranges from machining masterpieces, with no screws, to experimental systems utilizing pulleys, cables, and rotating cylinders. Today we are exploring the most complex guns ever created in history. Some more reliable than others, some mechanically counterintuitive and dense. Either way, these firearms vary in how easy they were to mass produce. Ranking: least to most complex Mauser C96, broomhandle. Description: the C96 is a feat of late 19th century machining, held together by interlocking parts with almost no screws. Its internal lock frame houses the entire firing mechanism in a single unit that must be meticulously hand-fitted. The pistol is famous for its integral box magazine, located in front of the trigger, usually loaded via stripper clips. It features a unique adjustable rear sight graduated up to 1,000 meters, which was highly optimistic for a handgun. Year made: 1896 combat. Used extensively in the Boer War, WWI, the Chinese Civil War, and World War II. Reliability: generally reliable, but prone to bolt-stop failures if high-pressure modern ammo is used. Field stripping is a mechanical puzzle. Current price: $1,500 to $15,000 plus, depending on variant and condition. Bergmann-Bayard model 1910. Description: this Belgian-produced sidearm uses a complex short royal system with a separate locking block that drops to unlock the bolt. Its design includes a side plate that can be removed to reveal a dense web of delicate springs and hand-fitted levers. The magazine is located in front of the trigger guard, similar to the Mauser, but it is detachable. It was one of the earliest successful semi-automatic pistols, but required intense maintenance to keep the locking block clear of debris. Year made: 1910. Combat: saw service with the Danish and Spanish militaries through both world wars. Reliability: fairly robust for its era, though the heavy recoil of the 9mm Bergmann round eventually causes wear on the complex locking surfaces. Current price: $2,500 TP, $5,500. Dardick Model 1500. Description: this bizarre hybrid uses a rotary chamber system that picks up triangular plastic cartridges called trounds from an internal magazine. As the trigger is pulled, the 3-station cylinder rotates a tround into an open-sided chamber where it is fired through a conventional barrel. The triangular shape was intended to maximize magazine capacity while allowing the cylinder to act as both the breech and the feed ramp. It was a mechanical solution to a problem that didn't exist, resulting in a bulky and confusing sidearm. Year made: 1958 combat. Never saw combat. It was a commercial failure intended for police and civilian markets. Reliability: poor. The open chamber design often led to timing issues and jams if the rounds were not perfectly aligned. Current price: $3,000 to $6,000. Mars automatic pistol. Description: invented to be the most powerful handgun of its time, the Mars used a long recoil rotating bolt action that was exceptionally violent. The feed system was its most complex feature. It pulled cartridges backward out of the magazine before a lifter moved them up into the path of the bolt. It was physically massive and notoriously difficult to handle due to the sheer reciprocating mass of the barrel and bolt. The complex feed path meant any slight variation in cartridge length would cause a catastrophic jam. Year made: 1900 combat. Never officially adopted. Rejected by the British War Office for being too complex and having frightful recoil. Reliability: very low. It tended to eject spent casings directly into the shooter's face, and frequently broke its own internal components. Current price: $30,000 to $50,000 plus. Next, Nikonov AN-94 Abakan. Description: the AN-94 was designed to replace the AKI-74 by using a recoil-shifted pulse system to fire a 2-round burst at 1,800 revolutions per minute. This is achieved through a pulley and steel cable system that cycles a second round into the chamber before the first round's recoil has even reached the shooter's shoulder. The barrel and entire action reciprocate within an outer housing, making it feel like two different guns working inside one another. Its canted magazine and complex muzzle brake further add to its unique, mechanically dense appearance. Year made: 1994, combat used by Russian elite units Spetsnaz in the Chechen Wars and the current conflict in Ukraine. Reliability: high in clean conditions but a nightmare to maintain in the field. A snapped cable renders the entire rifle useless. Current price: $10,000, $20,000, virtually impossible to find outside of Russia. Next up, Heckler Koch G11. Description: this rifle was the peak of space-age engineering, firing caseless ammunition from a rotating breech mechanism. Because there is no brass casing to extract or eject, the firing cycle is entirely internal, allowing for a 2,000 revolutions per minute burst rate. The internals are often described as being more similar to a Swiss watch or a sewing machine than a traditional firearm. The entire firing unit is suspended on rails within the outer casing to isolate the shooter from the recoil of the hyperburst. Year made: 1980. Prototypes: combat. Never saw combat. The project was cancelled after the German reunification due to cost and complexity. Reliability: theoretically good, but heat buildup from the caseless ammo could cause cook-offs, rounds firing spontaneously. Current price: priceless. Prototypes only exist in museums, none are available for private purchase. Okay. Next up, many consider the Korobov TKB-022 the most complex firearm ever created. Description: this experimental Soviet bullpup moved the magazine to the extreme rear of the stock, behind the trigger hand, to maximize barrel length. To cycle rounds from such an awkward position, it required a vertically moving breech block and a U-shaped extractor/rammer that moved cartridges in a complex S-path. The spent casings were ejected forward through a tube above the barrel to prevent gas from hitting the shooter's face. It is widely considered the most mechanically counterintuitive and dense firearm ever designed by a state military. Year made: 1962. Combat: never saw combat. Remained a prototype because the Soviet military found it too radical and difficult to mass produce. Reliability: surprisingly functional for its complexity, though clearing a jam required disassembling the entire rear of the rifle. Current price: unknown and priceless. Only a few exist in the Tula State Arms Museum. If sold, it would go for a lot. Well, I guess that wraps up this one, dudes. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoy. Check out my other content on our channel. Do not forget to subscribe, ring the bell, so you don't miss out on future uploads. Drop a thumbs up and type us a comment down below. You've been watching the Everything Weapons YouTube channel. So yeah, see you guys in the next video. Have a good rest of your evening,